What were some of your struggles in college or getting into college?
I didn't struggle so much getting into college because I worked really hard in high school. But once I was in college, I learned quickly that it's very different than high school. In high school, I could sometimes listen in class, and I had enough to be able to pass a test if I just felt like I understood the material. In college, I learned that what they teach in class and what they assign for you to read are sometimes two different things, and both of those things can end up on the test. So my first semester I got C's, and then I learned that you really have to work really hard and study really hard, and so I spent a lot of time in the library, and if they assign chapters to read, you had to read those chapters.
Who influenced you to go to college and prepare for college?
I had a lot of influences. I think my parents, it was always an expectation that I would go to college. So when I thinking about what I wanted to do growing up as far as a career path, everything that I wanted to do, even though it changed from time to time, it all required college. So I think I always knew I needed to go to college to be able to have the kind of career I wanted. And I just I was lucky enough to have wonderful teachers, youth group leaders, and other adults in my life that always encouraged me and pushed me to really excel.
What helped you to complete college, and how did you feel?
Well, once you start paying for college and you start taking out loans, it's kind of, you're obligated. You feel like you've got to do this. And if you go into it motivated to finish so that you can have the career you want, that's your own motivation, just to be able to complete it. I just worked really hard when I was in college. I took it very seriously. My parents paid for some of it. I had loans in my own name, so I knew that I needed to work hard to make sure that I could complete it. I also knew that college wasn't the end. I needed to go to grad school right after college, so that I could do what I'm doing today.
Who influenced you the most in your life?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Because I feel like in different parts of my life, different people have had influences on me. I have to say growing up, so if I'm thinking about talking to teens, growing up for me, I feel like the biggest influences were my parents. I may have not realized it then how much they were influencing me, but when I look back now, I know that everything that I am and everything I did came from all the sacrifices that they made, how much they pushed me, and were always there to support me. I think when I was a teenager, it just felt like a given, so I didn't really realize how much that impacted my life. But when I'm working now in the position I'm in and I see how many students don't have that, it helps me to realize and appreciate how much I did have growing up with my parents being there for me.
What were your best and worst classes in college?
Gosh. Well, worst, that's easy. Worst classes were anything I do with math. Math for me, I could do it. I was always a struggle. So like math, statistics, those are the classes I used to really struggle in, that I didn't really enjoy. But my best classes were the classes that were really related to my career field. So once I started getting into like child psychology and psychopathology and classes that talked about things that I really felt like were teaching me what I needed to know to become like a clinician or a therapist, those were the most exciting for me.
How do you feel now that you have graduated or will be graduating?
Well, I've graduated a long time ago. It feels good. You can see I have my diplomas on the wall. I'm very proud of the education I received. I was 4 years undergrad and 2 years of grad school, and like I said earlier, it's so much more than just having the degrees you need to have a career. You learn so much about life. You meet so many wonderful people. Some of my closest friends that I still have today, I met in college and in grad school. And I wouldn't have the job I have if I didn't have the degrees I have. So I feel wonderful.
How did you pay for it? How do you plan on paying for it?
Well, I'm still paying for it. There was some grants, some loans. My parents paid for a portion of my undergraduate education. My graduate education was all loans. And to me, if somebody's worried about loans and worrying about paying for college, it should be the least of your worries, because by having that education, you'll make a lot more money. So when you make more money, it's just another bill. And it's a bill worth paying for, because you have something that no one can ever take away from you. Once you have acquired knowledge, no one can take it away from you.
How did you make it past your first year?
I worked really hard. Like I said, the hardest semester for me was my first semester, when I realized that I had to completely learn a different way of studying and of, being a student, because it was completely different from the way I was in high school. But I just pushed myself, and I surrounded myself with people who really were focused on their education, and by doing that, it just was what I naturally had to do. My friends and I would meet at the library, we'd study, we weren't big partiers, we'd go out and have a good time, but our education always came first. And because I surrounded myself with other people like that, it made it easier.
Give us one piece of advice or wisdom to help us go to college.
One piece of advice or wisdom. I would say just do it. Because no matter, nowadays it is really difficult. I mean, the job market is different from when I came out of college. Within a few years of me coming out of college, all my friends when we graduated, there were people recruiting right at school for jobs. It is hard now. It is really hard. It's a competitive, it's very competitive to find any kind of job nowadays. And most jobs require more skill and more knowledge. And so by going to college, you're going to give yourself a leg up. You can really focus on a career path that you want, and it just sets you up in a way that you'll be able to make more money. There's kids that have gone to college that are having a hard time finding a job. So you at least want to be on the same playing field with them. And I can't even tell you how much you get out of college. It goes so fast, but I really think that every student should go to college, if they can.
What are your thoughts and regrets to the college prep program?
I think it's fantastic. I think, not everybody grows up with people telling them they need to go to college. Not everyone has that kind of exposure growing up. And by starting with our kids while they're younger, and our students here to really let them see that college is for them, that it's not some pie-in-the-sky dream, that you can go to college. You really can be what you want to be, but it takes you being responsible and putting the work and the effort so that you can do it. No one is going to be able to get you through college but you. So if it's something that you want, or if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, whatever it is that you want to be, it's going to require college, and it's just going to require you being focused and trying hard. And if you do that, you can do it.
Good.